This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? Are your conversations making a difference? With a passion for words and a heart for conversation, Teresa Velardi is a self-professed word nerd, best-selling author, BizCat 360 columnist, and publisher. Children's books as well as fiction and nonfiction books are welcomed at We Be Books Publishing and Book Endeavors, the imprints of her company, Authentic Endeavors Publishing. Whether written or spoken, Teresa strives to encourage and inspire meaningful conversations that make a difference. Here's the host of Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Conversations That Make a Difference. I'm here with Tasha Chen today. And before we get started, let's just do a little bit of housekeeping. Welcome again. And you can listen to Conversations That Make a Difference every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with live call-in video shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. You can listen live on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network, online, on your mobile apps, in the car, on YouTube, and by asking Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 radio network. So before we start, we usually start with a prayer. So let's say the Serenity Prayer, and then I'll introduce my guest. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I also want to say that it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose. And all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And we gratefully say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So let me just say, Tasha Chen has been in my life for quite some time. She is one of my favorite people, and I'm blessed to have her with us today as we discuss a few things and her newest book, Dear Wealthy Me. So let me just tell you a little bit about Tasha. She is the #1 manifestation and wealth mentor for women entrepreneurs and executives. She's the co-founder of the Science of Getting Rich Academy. Tasha is a wealth and success coach for high-achieving women, executives, and entrepreneurs who want to elevate wealth and abundance in every area of their lives. Her proven Vision Alignment method has helped more than 17,000 people find ease and joy while enjoying quality time with their families, manifest tremendous levels of wealth, and have the freedom to do what they love. With Tasha's coaching and proprietary methods, I can say that, her community has manifested 163 million and created 12 millionaires and multimillionaires and counting. Tasha is a highly sought after author, international speaker, and mindset mastery expert who works with go-getters, impact makers, and action takers. She says, I have used the principles I teach to change my life and realize my financial dreams. In the process, I chose to share the journey and the how-to with women from all over the world. And they too have amassed wealth exceeding, once again, $163 million. I have a very controversial position on wealth creation that defies the masculine hustle and work hard paradigm so many women have adopted. I believe we can co-create wealth with ease, and when we understand our innate power to create wealth and know that we deserve to live our lives filled with the abundance of wealth. And wealth is the word of the day. Welcome, Tasha Chen.
Thank you.
So
Can you just talk all about me again? I was like, wow, she's pretty cool, whomever you're talking about.
You're the bomb, girl. So one thing about the show, we like to have fun. And what else is more fun to talk about than wealth, right?
Absolutely.
So I want to first share with our audience a little bit about this book. by the way, Tasha Batts and Tasha Chen are the same in one in the same person. This is her married name. I'm sure we're going to touch a little bit on that.
Yes.
But I just want to, when I opened this book, when I got it and I read the introduction and I went, oh yeah. So here, first of all, look at the picture on the front cover of this book. Okay. How beautiful is that? All right. So she writes in 2024, I'm sitting on the balcony overlooking the Monaco harbor. In the distance, I can see the palace where the Prince of Monaco resides. Down below, the marina is busy with hundreds of multi-million-dollar yachts entering and leaving the harbor. I'm staying in a luxurious room at the Hotel Hermitage, where my husband is nestled in bed, still asleep. This is my wealth moment. I am finally wealthy me. And then she asked this question: have you ever felt this intense knowing that there is more for you? What a way to start this off.
Woo, you're going to make me cry.
I was like, this almost made me cry, because I'm just like looking at this book and I'm saying to myself, wow, I've never been to Monaco. I haven't done nearly as much traveling as you have. That's one of your driving factors for your wealth. Yeah. I think it's one of the things you love to do. And so when you say wealthy me, what are you really inviting women to remember about themselves beyond the money?
Yeah. So the reason I got emotional listening to you read that, which, it's so interesting. I'm like, wait a second, but I'm the one that wrote that. But hearing you read it, what it did was it transported me back to that moment on that balcony. And the next paragraph talks about, I'm having like this dual experience in this one moment, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sitting on the balcony, I'm looking out, I'm very aware I'm in my wealthy moment, but I'm also very, very, very aware of the Tasha who stood at the mailbox every single day with past due notices, who had filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, who cried every single day on the kitchen floor. Never in a gazillion years could that Tasha ever imagine that this would be real.
Yeah.
The only thing I had to go off of, and this is to answer your question when I talk about wealthy me, I just knew that there was more for me.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you it was going to include Monaco and yachts and a husband even. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you all of that. I just knew that I was meant for more than I was experiencing at that time in my life. And when I talk about wealthy me, that's really what I'm saying. Every single woman that I have ever had conversations with all say, I just know I'm meant for more. I do. I just know. Mm-hmm. I know there's more that I'm meant to be doing. I know I'm meant to be in an experience of abundance, especially believers. That's the promise that we have. I know I'm meant for more. Mm-hmm. And wealth absolutely includes the dollars and cents that you can count. That hotel in Monaco costs money, mm-hmm. right? However, the peace I felt sitting on that balcony. Maslow's hierarchy of need talks about self-actualization, and that's in the psychology world. In our Christian walk, it says, well done, good and faithful servant. You mm-hmm. took the talents and the gifts that I gave you and you made the most of your life. And sitting on that balcony, that was there was nothing, like the dollars and cents were great. I'm not going to lie, Teresa, right? It gets mm-hmm. gets you there, gets you mm-hmm. to places. Mm-hmm. But the intrinsic wealth, mm-hmm. the knowing that maybe you're not complete, but you really and truly are doing what you came to do. You're at peace. You feel joy. You feel love. You feel deep gratitude. And there is at any given time a version of us that is, one, living out that experience on our behalf. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. two, she is constantly saying, come on, honey. Come on, there is more, there is more, there is more. I promise you there is more. Just keep going, And so wealthy me is the thing that I want every woman to remember. Your dreams are not crazy.
Mhm.
That feeling and that desire that you have for more truly is a version of you, right? The complete self-actualized version of you, the whole
Mhm.
perfectly made version of you
Mhm.
is saying to you, come be me.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's interesting that to have that dichotomy, that one side of you that was one way and now you're another,
Yeah.
and I think about the chosen. I was one way and now I'm another, and the only thing different was him. There's something different
Mm,
in the middle. There's something different
mhm.
in the middle mark there. So, the world defines wealth as, I'm such a word nerd, you know that, right?
Yes, let's hear it.
So, wealth in the dictionary is simply this: an abundance of valuable possessions or money, the state of being rich, material prosperity, and plentiful supplies of a particular resource. That only touches on the one thing that is considered to be wealth. What else do you, Tasha, consider to be wealth? Where does it show up in your life outside of the money?
My definition, and I'm going to borrow this from Deepak Chopra, because once when I read it, you ever heard the truth and you're like, this is the truth right here.
Mhm.
And his definition of wealth was the ability to easily create. And the word easily, as you know, we're both word nerds. The word easily, like that, transforms the entire definition for me, because I'm a recovering workaholic, hustleraholic, all the things, right? Yeah. So the ability to easily create anything you desire.
Mhm.
Do you desire more love? The ability to easily create it, that's wealthy. Do you desire more peace? Do you desire more joy? Do you desire friendships and relationships that fill your heart? Do you desire more meaningful spiritual journey?
Mhm.
Right? Anything that you desire, the ability to easily create it, that's when you're wealthy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
Yeah.
totally, because it's not all about the money, and that being said, it's not about what will you leave as your legacy. The money, yes, but what else are you leaving that makes a difference in this world? I believe, and I'm sure you do as well, we are supposed to leave this place a little bit better than it
Absolutely.
was when we left, when we got here, when we leave. So,
I remember one of my clients once saying she does a lot of work with legacy. And, for a long time, especially in my work as a mentor around wealth, and someone who came from being a single mom and divorced and going, oh no, what's going to happen to my kids in the future financially if I don't fix this right now?
mhm,
I became very intentional about doing all the structural things around wealth. And then I met my client who said, your legacy is how people remember you.
mm,
And I thought, what would be the point if I left the bank full of money and my kids did not have memories, like truly valuable memories that we made together?
mhm,
My clients, the people, and it's clients is hard for me to say. Literally, I believe that we are all being used by God to answer the prayers of others. And
mm,
so legacy for me and what's truly wealthy is, Teresa, I know at any given moment, I know I've left some people transformed because I said yes to my calling.
yeah,
That is wealthy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I remember having a conversation with you not so long ago, and something that happened recently, and I was talking about, like, why me? Like, why me? Like, I'm just showing up for whatever God, and the word just is always there. I'm just showing up for whatever God puts before me.
Yeah.
But and then somebody said the word just doesn't belong in that conversation,
Right.
because it makes less of what what you're showing up for. And you do that. And I know you back in the early
You know me,
days of this.
back.
Back. Yeah, yeah. So to see this be the way that it is, Can you pinpoint outside of what you described about that racing to the mailbox, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, outside of that, can you pinpoint the one moment that you knew that this was the work that you had to do?
This is going to sound interesting because it was dollars and cents related.
Mhm.
When I first started doing this work, the book that I taught from was The Science of Getting Rich, and there's a whole story around how that came to be. But I didn't really know. I just said, hey, to a group of women, I've been reading this book. I follow this process when I read it. If you're interested, I can show you what I'm doing. And I think I can do it with about 10 of you. And 10 women raised their hands, and we got together at someone's home, and we met once a week for 4 weeks. On the third week, one of the ladies didn't show up. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. We didn't have Facebook groups. We didn't have platforms where you could log in and we knew you were doing the thing. The only way we knew was that we got together once a week and we knew you were still engaged. You were following the process. So when she missed that week, I was like, oh man, bum, she fell off. But she came back on the last day, 28th day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's going on? How did everything go? She just matter of fact stood up. Everyone was taking turns. And she was like, yeah, we manifested a $5 million contract, renewable for 20 years, increasing every year. And I was like, right? And she says, yeah, it was so funny because my husband, when he heard the news, he started bawling like this grown man, right? Their entire lives are going to be completely changed now. She says he started bawling and she says, what's that? Why are you crying? And he's like, do you know, like, this is going to change your life? And she says, but I told you I was doing Tasha's thing and I wrote that I was going to manifest this contract.
And there it is.
And Teresa, in that moment, truthfully though, what it did was my little thing, as you would say, my little thing that I was doing to just say, hey, let's do this thing together. I was like, wait a minute, it works. It has legs.
Mm-hmm.
If one person can do it, many others can too.
Mm-hmm.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
I think that was the moment I realized there's something about how I guide others through this work that is just meant for the way I'm meant to do it. And that's it.
Yeah, that's crazy good. Crazy good.
Yeah.
I never heard that story before. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so many high achieving women have done everything right? But they still feel stuck. And so from your work and your own story that you've shared some of now, what's actually keeping them from receiving the life that they desire?
Well, that's a kind of a two-part answer. Believe it or not, the thing that breaks my heart the most is that high achieving women, we were all little girls.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't just become high achieving.
Right.
We had very high standards, very high expectations. We were considered successful or not, depending on our results. And so we're driven by external results, external validation, very high standards of measurement. And because that's how we got defined growing up, the only thing we know, whether it's to receive love, to receive praise, to receive validation, is to actually disconnect from our desires, our heart, our feminine intuition, our creativity, and really just go all into machine, produce, right? And so somewhere along the way, especially I've noticed in high achieving women, a couple of things have happened. The first and the most heartbreaking is they stopped dreaming.
Mm.
They stopped dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
They only know how to produce.
Yeah.
The second most heartbreaking thing, they stop asking. They only know how to produce.
Mm.
And I've served so many women, 17,000 or more, and I will see women come and say, Tasha, I don't know what I want. I don't really know what I want. I'm not clear. If I could have $1 for every woman who says, I'm not really sure what I want. And what's happened is that we've gone through these phases in our life as high achieving women where we were either told not to ask, that we don't deserve to ask. We are meant to take care of everyone else. We're not meant to have any needs of our own. Right. And so we also, there's also a big part of I'm not clear is really just camouflage for I really know what I want, but I'm afraid I'm not going to get it. So I'm not even going to say I know what I want,
Yeah.
So we have that going on one side. And then the other thing with high achieving women is, and this is actually, maybe it's a little bit unfair to say only high achieving women. That's who I support. So I know these women, they're me. I am them and they're me. Yeah. And I make a science study out of myself. And trust me, when I tell you I study these women, Teresa, I know them like the back of my hand. And here is what I have found. Their brains have created an identity for them that says, this is who you are with wealth. And here's the thing. If you can think of the weather app, right? You go into the weather app and you say, hey, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. And the weather app says, great, this is the weather, right, by hour for the next 10 days. And it predicts what's going to happen in the future based on the location you tell it you're at.
Right.
If you go to North Carolina, it changes. It says, this is the weather, these, hour by hour for the next 10 days. Well, your brain literally operates in the same way. And so for each one of us, your brain says, actually, this is your location. This is who you are. This is how you identify with money. And therefore, your brain, I'm going to predict your financial future, not for the next hour, not for the next 10 days.
For your entire life.
The rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's got to be something that breaks into that, which we're going to talk about when we come back, because we have to take our first break.
Okay, go for your break.
Okay. We'll be right back with Tasha Chen. And we're talking about her Dear Wealthy Me book. And we are excited about this conversation. Come back.
Are you one of the many people who said, someday I'll write a book, but don't know how to get started? Many wannabe authors have begun with the same question and are now published by Authentic Endeavors Publishing, a multi-imprint hybrid publishing company. Whether you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a kingdom book, a children's book, a business book, or an anthology, we have a place for you. Visit www.AuthenticEndeavorsPublishing.com for more information or to set up a 20-minute consultation. Your title of published author is within reach.
Born Able exists to highlight and normalize the humanity, worth, and abilities of infants and children born with complex medical conditions. We write, illustrate, and publish books for these children and have featured over 1,000 children throughout the world. Our videos and posts have been viewed over 100 million times on social media as we strive to showcase these amazingly abled kids and fight relentlessly for equal medical care, regardless of diagnosis. All proceeds from Born Able books go directly to the Born Able Foundation. To nominate a special kid to be featured in a Born Able book, go to www.bornable.org to learn more.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back with Tasha Chen, and we're talking about Dear Wealthy Me. And before we went to break, I had asked Tasha a question about what's actually keeping women from receiving the life they desire. And before break, Tasha talked about how your brain tells you that it's going to be this way for the rest of your life. Okay. That sets me up for the question, how do you break into that belief and shift it to a different direction or the opposite direction so that you can indeed live your wealthy life?
All right, so I'm going to ask for you to be a little patient with me, because the true key in being able to break this is to absolutely understand who your brain thinks you are.
Okay.
So there's 6 different identities that your brain operates from, and each of us, I'm going to tell you mine. I'm sure you'll be able to identify yours. So the first one is one of the identities is the brain says, you with money, Jane, you are a survivor. Okay, that's who I identify you as, and therefore I'm going to predict your financial reality for the rest of your life based on your survivor identity. What does that mean? Every time you thrive, every time things come around for you to thrive, the brain says, that's not surviving, right? So these are for the women who they'll tell me, Tasha, I have so many contracts out there, and I've manifested all these things, and I have all these big ideas, but just nothing lands. People owe me all this money, nothing lands. Well, it can't, because if it does, your brain's going to go, no, that's thriving, and that's not who you are. Yeah. Your brain is saying you're a survivor. Okay, so that's number one. The second is the responsibility carrier. This is the person who is responsible for everyone's emotional outcome, financial outcome. And actually for them, the brain says, if you get more money, it's going to be more responsibility. Right? And so your brain is therefore predicting how money flows to you based on your fear of money means more responsibility. The other one, and I am very much recovering myself. And this is part of how I'm telling you how women can get to the answer. To know thyself is the answer. It is the answer to know who your brain thinks you are. This is not who you are. It is who your brain has looked back at all the data it has of your whole life and said, I need to protect her. I need to keep her the same. I need to keep her safe. And so I'm going to create an identity for her around money so that anytime she goes outside of this identity, I just reel her back in. And so for me and some of the women, the identity that the brain uses is the hustler. Okay. And so
we're not talking about the dance.
And so this is for those women who they can make stuff happen, but the one thing they cannot do is have ease with money. Right? And so your brain is literally predicting your entire rest of your future unless you know it and you can see it and choose to do something else. So that's the hustler. The other one is what I call the play small protector. I find a lot of my women who are deeply spiritual, they do a lot of heart-centered work. They grew up in childhood scenarios where they were bullied, they were left as an outcast, right? And so the brain, in order to keep them to keep them the same, says, if you become visible, if you go out there to try to make money, that's a bad thing for you. So let's just stay under the radar, stay small, don't dream too big, right? So that's play small protector. The fifth one is what I call the undeserving achiever. This is the woman who spends all her time saying, I should be further along than this. Why am I not further along than this? But the truth is, what her brain is saying is wealth is for everybody else but me. Yeah. Big money, that's for everybody else but me. And then the last one is what I call the wealthy me. This is the evolved version of you that does not operate from any of those identities because you've done the work. So I described all 6 because truthfully, the answer, Teresa, is now that I know my brain thinks of me as hustler, now I know that that's what my brain is using as a prediction model. I can see when it's doing its little song and dance. I can see when it's trying to keep me trapped in that behavior and that money pattern. You got to work hard for money. What are you doing? You're resting? Are you crazy? You're not going to make any money. And I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not who I am. And so because I understand who my brain sees me as now, as this identity, whenever I see that myself in that repeated pattern, I can consciously choose to say, nope, that is not who I am. I'm choosing to be the wealthy me.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, I wrote them down again. I've heard you talk about this. Survivor, responsibility carrier, the hustler, the play small protector, the undeserving achiever, and the wealthy me. Speaking of undeserving, be sure you get her other book, Deservingness. It'll flip that switch for you for sure.
That's right.
So, how we do anything is how we do everything, right? So that being said, and in relationship to money, all of this makes sense. Now, have you discovered, and I know the answer to this question already, have you discovered that this situation that you have just described in each one of these identities shows up in other areas of our lives?
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Talk to me about some places where this showed up in your life, and literally.
We have to go there.
Well, just a little bit. You're in control of this here. You tell what you want and say, whoa, Teresa, and what you don't.
No, Teresa, I'm an open book. Part of my purpose here is to truly share my life openly, because something I say is going to help one woman, one person at least, just not suffer anymore, And so I'm a yes for it always. I can tell you for certain, I actually learned a lot of my lessons, especially the deservingness lesson, in relationships. And so I shared with you that my brain identifies, Tasha, this is not who I am. My brain has a program, and the program in my brain says, you are a hustler, right? And so what happened, I realized, again, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Here I was seeking a partner, a husband, right? The man that was going to be that divine masculine in my life. And how was I going about it? Choosing every guy that I had to work, to prove, to show, to hustle. Never did it occur to me that normal would mean I don't do much. I just am Tasha, and that's enough.
Yeah.
No stress, no anxiety, no overworking, no overcoming, none of it. Never, my brain wouldn't allow me to consider that that's the way it should be, because it only knew me as hustler Tasha. Yeah. And so you hustle for money, you hustle for love, you hustle, same thing. I've always battled with my weight, right? Every time I get frustrated with it, what do I start doing? Oh my gosh, I do the green smoothie thing. That's the hardest way to stay on any program, is to do that. Then I'm walking 3 times a day. I'm going to the gym 5 times a week. And just anything that's just really, really hard. It never occurs to me, you know what? If you give your body more rest and just drink more water. I remember one time I got so frustrated, Teresa, I was exhausted from trying to do all the things to get to the size that I felt. This is what I want for myself. And I remember just falling to my knees and just saying, God, help me. And the answer was, drink more water and rest. And you ever had one of those moments you're like,
did he really say that?
Are you serious right now? Like, that is easy. That cannot be the answer. Right?
Yeah. Sometimes the answer is so simple. And because of, I love the way that you describe the hustler, because the answer is so simple, we don't see it because we're in the hustle and bustle mode and we're tripping over it. Exactly. And sometimes we literally trip over it, like I did. about a
no.
week ago.
Oh no.
I busted some ribs. I'm like, yeah, I'm going through it, but it's all good, you know? So
Yeah.
something good comes out of everything. If I keep with that mindset that something good will come out of everything. Well, P.S. something good did come out of your situation. And how long have you been married to your husband now?
3.5 years. Oh my gosh. We've been married
Wow.
for 3.5 years.
Wow. Wow. But you didn't just like say, I want this man in my life. You had to do some things in order to be able to make that happen. And I know as somebody who writes and as somebody who's a journaler herself,
Yeah.
I'm asking you, what kind of things did you learn to do? And what's just even one thing that you can share with the people who are listening about journaling? How do you take things out of your heart and your brain and put them on a piece of paper so that they can actually come to be?
Well, if you know me for 2 minutes, I am very serious about my journaling. I
Mhm.
tell people the only thing I might not journal about is if I'm going to the grocery store and I want to buy something on sale. Maybe I might not journal about that. But anything else that is meaningful to me in life, I journal about it and then I go live it. That truly is my philosophy. And
Mhm.
so over time, what I've learned to do is to be willing to give myself the chance as often as possible. I used to do this every day. Now, at a minimum, I do it every Sunday night. But I would give myself the chance to just ask me, what do you truly desire in whatever area of your life, in my business, with my relationship with my husband, I journal for my children so much. They'll message me about stuff that's going on in their life and I'll just screenshot what I journaled 2 days before. And I'm like, you can thank me later. Why don't you start journaling for yourself?
Yeah.
But I really just any area of my life, truthfully, and I just sit and I am willing to ask myself, what do you really desire in this area of your life?
Mhm.
And then when I get my journal, it really is just a thank you that I have received it, because the Bible is a book of codes, right? And wealth codes, and wealth meaning, as we've already said, way more than money, just having an amazing life. And
Mhm.
so one of the things it says is ask believing that you have already received.
Mhm.
And so if I'm journaling to ask for something, believing I've already received it, then I'm not asking, please, can you give me this, God?
Mhm.
I'm journaling, thank you for giving this to me.
Mhm.
Because I'm journaling from the place of, I have already received this thing
Mhm.
that I just became aware that I want. And I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, honestly, I've been journaling since I was a child.
Mhm.
What I've learned was, before I would journal to reflect on all the bad stuff. You know how we had our little journals as teenage girls and like, and she stopped talking to me today. And he didn't notice me at the bus stop. And it's all the bad stuff, you know? And then I realized, wait a second, journaling is actually intended for us to script our life in
Mhm.
gratitude, to really write about what we want to experience as if we've already received it, and to be grateful when we write about it.
Yeah, the gratitude piece is huge,
Yeah.
huge in that
Yeah.
whole thing. And I know Bob Proctor taught something very similar to what you're saying. And the journal entries that he suggested was, I am so happy and grateful now that, and you put what you want as if you have already received it in that fill in the blank question. So, and that's
Yeah.
basically the same thing that you're saying right now. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. We're going to go to break a minute early because there are so other questions that I want to ask you. And we are 2/3 away. We're 2/3 through this already. This time flies by. So,
Wow.
I know, right? I know. So this is a great conversation. We're talking about Tasha Chen. We're talking to Tasha Chen about her book, Dear Wealthy Me, and also pick up deservingness too, because it all starts there. And in order to be able to become the wealthy you. So we're going to take our break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Tasha some more about the gratitude piece and about what she has coming up in the future. We'll be right back.
Do you have an uplifting personal story to share? The Daily Gift Book series began with a daily gift of gratitude and a daily gift of hope, both available on Amazon. We're looking for people like you to share a story in our continuing series. Kindness, peace, inspiration, and generosity are just a few of the upcoming topics in the Daily Gift Book series. Your stories matter, and they make a difference. Visit www.dailygiftbookseries.com to find out more on how to submit your story for one of the upcoming titles.
With the hustle and bustle of today's world, how often do you practice gratitude? How can you make it a habit? Gratitude is more than putting a smile on your face and being thankful for the roof over your head. It's expanding your perception and finding gratitude for every opportunity and every challenge. Gratitude is a feeling of connection to things higher than yourself, to God, and to others. We focus on light, positivity, and connections. When we join our grateful hearts together, the power of community attracts more people and even more to be grateful for while making a difference. A grateful heart is infectious. Share it. Join our Grateful Hearts community on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/The Grateful Hearts Community and watch your blessings blossom.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Is it any coincidence that those commercials are for gratitude?
I'm sitting over here going, wow.
A Daily Gift of Gratitude was the first book in the Grateful Heart series, and the Grateful, the Daily Gift Book series. Actually, you have something in the back here that you gave me permission to share. So
Yes.
you can read about it in Daily Gift of Gratitude. And then came Hope. And each one of these builds on the other. Daily Gift of Hope was next. If you have a grateful heart, you are much more hopeful in your life, right?
Yeah.
And then you can become a kinder person. Daily Gift of Kindness came out after those. And then, of course, if you do those things, you will live a more peaceful life. Yes.
Ooh.
And then it falls over into friendships, relationships, and anything else that you have going on. And the next one coming out is going to be a Daily Gift of Inspiration. Daily Gift of Inspiration. And somewhere along the line, God gave me this, become who you were created to be. And this isn't this what we're talking about? Becoming who you were created to be. And I usually don't show this one, but it's just so in line with the conversation that we're having, because God promises us abundant life. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. It's plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And Jesus came to give us life abundantly. It says that in the Bible. And it doesn't just say money. It says it's abundance. Abundance is abundance in every area of life. So, I think you answered the next question I was going to ask you. What's the first thing that a woman can do if she's listening right now and she feels the pull but doesn't know how to step into her wealthy me? You gave us a lot of information there. What's the first shift you'd want her to make? What's the first thing you did in order to be able to walk this different path than what you were walking to the mailbox every day?
Yeah, really. I think it's really simple. You have to, and I'm going to take this back to what so many women say to me, Tasha, I know I'm meant for more. I know I'm meant for more. I just don't know the steps, but I know for certain, sure as my name is my name, that there is more for me. And if you can, the first step is really, are you willing to trust that as much as you say that it is actually the truth? You are meant for more. Mm-hmm. And the awareness that you're meant for more is actually a version of you, the fully expressed version of you, calling you to say, come step into me, come be me. And all you have to do, if you truly believe that you're meant for more, is to choose that version of yourself every day, to choose to live as her every day. And it sounds maybe a little woo-woo, a little crazy, a little like, huh? But I'm going to give you an example. This is super simple. I was standing in TJ Maxx one day. I love journals. And so I'm standing in TJ Maxx, and I went in there specifically to buy a new journal. And I'm looking at the journals, and I see two that I love. I'm like, oh, I can't choose which one. Journals in TJ Maxx are $6 each.
If
Okay?
that.
If that. We are now at 20 minutes of me standing there. And then I'm like, maybe I can't choose because there's a better one. Let me put them back and keep going. 20 minutes. And it hit me. And it really literally is like, what would wealthy me do right now? She would buy them both. What the heck? 20 minutes of your time? Do you not have something better to do? Spend the $10, the $11, get them both and carry on with your day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And
Yeah.
so that is what I mean. It literally is, I'm just going to choose to see the little micro moments where she's inviting me. Just move a little different, move like me. Think a little different about this. Think like me. You know, give yourself some more time and space in your life. Be like me, because she's not haggard and hustled and rushed, and she's none of that. Right.
Right.
And so that it sounds really simple, but it is why the masters, Eckhart Tolle told us this, Joe Dispenza told us this, Wallace D. Wattles told us this, Napoleon Hill told us this, they all told us, the Bible told us this. The old new you and embrace this new you. Just that simple. Embody her moment by moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Easier said than done for a lot of people, but you give a lot of information. You have a lot of tools in order to be able to shift that mindset into one of wealth and prosperity. And rather than being, I could see, I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing. Journals are my thing too. So I've done the same thing, TJ Maxx or wherever it was. And I see something that I'm like, oh, and then you turn it over and you look at how much it is. And I'm like, and then I got two of them in my hand. And then next thing you know, I got three of them in my hand. And I'm like, oh, I'll get them all, you know. But that's not from a place of identifying the wealthy me. That's from a place of I don't even know where it's from.
Well, I'm going to challenge you a little bit on this.
Okay.
Okay. Because here's the truth. You love them both. You want them both. However, there's a part of you that says it's not responsible to buy them both. It's not financially, the right thing to do. You're being wasteful, right? You start going into, I can't have the things that I desire, right? I promise you, if your kid walked in at that moment and said they wanted every journal on the rack for Christmas, you would buy them. You wouldn't stand there going through which one you like and which one you don't like. Your kid just said they want them all, and that would be that. And so what I realized, and I've learned this lesson over, she's put me in, Teresa, in my book, I talk about standing in the grocery store, choosing the organic beans versus the store beans. Right? And it's like, she's talking to me. And one of the things that's going to happen, because you said this is easier said than done. You've listened to this conversation. I've now told you, you have a wealthy you.
Yes.
You are going to beg her to just be quiet for a moment. Life is never going to be the same, because now that you're aware, you're literally going to see yourself in your decisions, and you're going to hear, you literally are going to subconsciously start asking, is this wealthy? Is this wealthy me?
Yeah. And that's why I have a drawer full of journals now.
We have an entire closet.
Oh my goodness. Talk up for a minute about the difference between the masculine and feminine energy, and how so many women are living the hustler, a lot of these paradigms, these identities that you talk about, living in masculine energy. What's the difference, just real quickly, so that we can get to all the good things you have coming up?
So, our creator created masculine and feminine, and we both have two different roles. The masculine is wired to hunt, gather, target, achieve, like bring in the bacon. Literally, they're built physically for that. Their brain is wired for that. They're singularly focused, right? Because physiologically, psychologically, everything about them is hunt, gather, achieve, hustle, do it all, right? Compete. Look at their why are our bodies different. That's number one. That's what they're meant to do. We are meant to create. We're meant to nurture. We're meant to be what we call being your feminine energy, which is truly all about what can I, make something out of nothing? What can I bring to life? What can I use my passions, my things that light me up, that bring me joy, and bring something into the world? Our brain is wired completely differently. And when you honor your feminine energy, which is around, I'm not meant to hustle. That's the masculine way. They're meant to provide and protect. My contribution to this world, if you would, is I'm actually wired to be softer, easier, more in flow. And I can bring bacon to match my husband's bacon. I just don't need to do it the way he does it. Right. And if I asked him to do it the way I do it, I tell my husband about manifesting something, he would say, you've lost your damn mind. Right. And if I try to work in his way, it would make me exhausted. So we're not meant to do it the other way, but we need to understand the difference and truly honor our feminine energy.
Yeah. As you're saying that and you're talking about bacon, I'm thinking about that song, I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, right?
Yeah.
So and never ever let you forget you're a man, right? That's the last
one.
Yeah. That's the feminine energy right there.
Yeah.
Part of it anyway. But I think that women today, especially women who are divorced and living on their own, or even women who are single and have not found their way to a relationship, if that's in their future, or even single moms, figure they have to play both parts, and that's probably the most difficult space to be, so I think that's something that we need to work on as a whole. Women need to work on that as a whole, because
I agree.
Yeah. Tasha, you have something that you want to give to the people who are listening to this. And for those of you who are listening, take her up on this offer. Okay.
I had been steeped in this work around helping women step into their wealthy me. What does that mean? What does it look like? I'm a master at visualizations and experiential learning, and getting you to break it down according to science and scripture and the universal laws. And so I took all of that and I created this activation experience. And so over 88 minutes, I guide women to truly activate and awaken their wealthy me. So if this conversation has you thinking, I know I want more, I kind of like this wealthy me idea, I want to be walking out here as my wealthy me, but again, you just don't know the steps, I want to give you this 88-minute awaken the wealthy me activation. Teresa, would you like me to share how to get it, or is that?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
So it's really simple. Just go to darewealthyme.com. darewealthyme.com, get yourself registered, and that's my gift to you. It'll be one of the most powerful experiences you can gift to yourself. Set some time aside and literally just watch the wealthy you come alive in your life.
Yeah. I think the world needs more of this right now. Get out of the conversations that are causing destruction in the world and come into the conversation, come into the fold of the Tasha world.
Tell you what, it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And, I've known you for a long time. I've been involved in your programs and your world for a while now. And there are some of us who are the hustle doesn't even, the busyness of life. We allow the busyness of life to keep us, I'm going to say me, I allow the busyness of life to keep me busier than I choose to be. And, you know, friends in my world, what are you doing? Oh, you're working. I know you're working. Yeah, I'm working. And it's hard to, it's difficult. I don't want to say hard because it's a decision. It's a decision. And sometimes we are so stuck in the busyness and the hustle and the whatever it is, you know, whatever your paradigm is, what your identity is, we're so stuck in that taking time for ourselves seems so foreign. Can you give us one thing that we can do today? And I'm including myself because this is me. And you know, this is me. I get so far and then I'm like, oh crap, I didn't do what I said I was going to do today. And I have to avoid beating myself up because if I do that, it just perpetuates the problem. So give us some suggestions, Ms. Tasha. Some more wisdom into this group of people.
I honestly think that the thing I can only say that's worked for me, and I've been having this conversation a lot around me and my world the last 2 days, where a woman said, you know, Tasha, honestly, but what if I don't change? What if I don't change? And I said, well, we can guarantee you won't change. I can guarantee you're not going to change. You don't have to worry about it. So stop worrying. I can guarantee you're not going to change if you are not willing to make a decision that you want to change.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I mean, Teresa, look, we know the success line. It is not like this. You know, it's kind of like, right? But the thing that I know is I've not stopped.
Yeah.
Yes, I've stalled. Yes, I've gone backwards. Yes, I didn't keep my word to myself. Yes, I, didn't stay on track, whatever. All of those things are true. But what's also true is I kept going. I got back up and I said, okay, I'm going to start again. I'm going to do it again because my commitment to, again, well done, good and faithful servant. Yes. My commitment to being self-actualized, my commitment to, I have such a strong belief that I deserve an amazing life. And amazing for me means easy.
Relaxed.
And relaxed.
And watching the boats in Monaco.
And don't forget the sexy husband asleep in the bed.
Don't forget that sexy husband either. Yeah, don't forget him. So Tasha, this has been wonderful. For everybody who's listening, get your copy of Dear Wealthy Me. If you want to know more about yourself, go get Deservingness as well. And then don't miss out on the free gift that Tasha has given you. Go to dearwealthyme.com and get the free Wealthy Me activation. Tasha Chen, thank you so much for being part of Conversations That Make a Difference today. And thank you for all you're doing to make a difference in the world. And for those of you listening, make sure the conversations that you're having in your life are making a difference, not only for people outside you, but for you as well. We'll see you next time.
Tune in next time for Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our station owner, Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.